A dear friend of mine has published 2 books. I always admired how they would make a decision to write one and then simply get it done. Years ago, I confided in them that I always wanted to write a book. Year after year, they would ask me the same question. "When are you getting that book out, Sharon?" To which I would reply with a laundry list of excuses on what was holding me back. In the end, my reasons always boiled down to the same thing. I know I can write, but how will I know when what I've written is perfect? Perfection kept me from pursuing a lifelong dream. What if instead of pursuing perfection, I aimed for good enough? I could have started the process, learned along the way, and refined my writing as I progressed. While striving for excellence is commendable, an obsessive quest for perfection can be counterproductive. Let's find out if you're a perfectionist and explore the liberating benefits of embracing good enough as a strategy. Find the full transcript and other resources for women leaders at livingwhileleading.com/13. You're listening to Living While Leading with your host, Sharon Ehrlich, where I help women IT executives gain more control over their careers and carve out time to care for themselves and family. When you think of perfection, it conjures up an image of achievement, respect, and adulation. Yet this pursuit often hinders progress and prevents you from taking risks or embracing new challenges. Perfection has come in all stripes. Answer these questions to determine if you have perfectionist tendencies. Do you find yourself constantly feeling the need to prove yourself? Do you tend to be self-critical? Do you take longer than needed to complete tasks? Do you put more value on the end result rather than the process to get there? Do you view being almost perfect as a failure? Do you have unrealistic standards? Do you have a fear of failure? Do you respond defensively to constructive criticism? If you answered yes to any of these, then keep listening. Let's discuss some of the reasons why the quest for perfection is more of a barrier than a pathway to success. Standards of what constitutes perfect can be subjective and often shift with context, culture, and time. Striving for something so transient can result in an endless cycle of pursuit, which leaves you exhausted and miles away from an ever-moving target. When perfection is the end game, there's little room for experimentation, which can cripple your ability to innovate. Think about it. Most groundbreaking ideas often arise from the ashes of failed attempts. If you constantly filter your actions through the lens of perfection, you run the risk of limiting your growth and creativity. The pressure to always be flawless can be mentally and emotionally taxing. Constant self-scrutiny and over-analysis can lead to anxiety, decreased job satisfaction, and even burnout. Constantly chasing perfection not only jeopardizes your well-being, but also your long-term impact as a leader. You understand the limiting aspects of perfectionism. Embracing a good enough approach is not about settling for mediocrity, but recognizing the value of agility, growth, and authenticity. Here are 3 advantages to adopting a shift in mindset, which shows that sometimes good enough is not only acceptable, but also strategically advantageous. The first advantage is about time. Time is precious in the fast-paced world of executive leadership. Waiting for conditions to be perfect or for an idea to be impeccably refined and executed can mean missed opportunities. Adopting a good enough mindset allows for quicker decision-making, ensuring you seize opportunities as they arise. The second advantage is about accepting that it's okay not to be perfect. It makes it easier to welcome feedback, learn from experience, and adapt. By aiming for good enough, you can transform each endeavor, whether successful or not, into a stepping stone towards greater proficiency and knowledge. The third advantage is that people resonate with authenticity. When you step away from an exterior of perfection and embrace your genuine self, you become more relatable. This authenticity can strengthen team dynamics, foster trust, and encourage open communication. The challenge will be to notice when to strive for excellence and when to recognize that good enough is sufficient. It's about understanding that perfection isn't always synonymous with success or value. Your ability to recognize your tendency towards perfection is the first step to changing this behavior. When perfectionism slows you down, consider the following strategies. Next time you're on the verge of delaying a project, idea, or opportunity because it might not be perfect, ask yourself, what would happen if it were just good enough? The answer might surprise you. Embrace vulnerability and own up to imperfections. Not only will this humanize you, but will also foster an environment where your team will feel safe to take risks and innovate. Recognize when you're setting unrealistic expectations for yourself and others. It's never too late to recalibrate these standards into something that's achievable and sustainable. If perfectionist tendencies push you to consistently work outside of your quote-unquote normal working hours, set a strict time to end your workday and stick to it. There is a time and place for perfection, but resist the urge to pursue it in every situation and embrace progress over perfection. The process of achieving goals, complete with its flaws and imperfection, is what truly defines you as a leader and will create a healthy environment for all. Remember, you're the solution to claiming what's important to you. Thanks for listening today. This is your time. Give yourself permission to reclaim what's important to you and be who you want to be. If you're getting value from this podcast, please subscribe, share it, or write a review. And connect with me on livingwhileleading.com or on LinkedIn. And don't forget to tune in next week.